what's your take on the changes that the music industry has seen over the years?
The big change, obviously, is there really any such thing as a record company anymore, you know, in any serious way? How do you market yourself anymore? You know, and I think this is something that's happened that's both for good and bad. I mean, there's an upside to it and a downside to it. But it's very different. It's massively different. And obviously the notion, you know, when we were coming up in the 60s, you know, where it's like, let the people in, free concert. You know, there was always a sense of this, let's, you know, let the people in, music should be for everybody kind of thing. But at the same time, you know, the musicians have to get paid something in order to, you know, keep plying their trade and, you know, pay their bills and put food on the table. So the big issue now really is, you know, how do you get your product to sell, and how do you get the money if it does sell, because everybody's going to just copy it and give it to everybody else, and technology is going to advance and you're never going to be able to stop that. So in a way, I think you're going to be even more left with, people are more left with the live show as their means of earning a living. Once the music gets out there and people like it, and they want to come see you, that's how the artist is going to be able to survive. So the question becomes, how do you get your music out there in the first place? Now, that's the difficulty, and obviously we're on the web. The web is providing the answers. You know, you just got to sort of individually figure out how to dope this out and get your art across.
Where do you see the future of music going?
I'll tell you the thing I worry about. This is in such a state of flux right now that there's no answer to it. The thing I worry about, that I've worried about for a while now, is even musically itself, the computer has so dominates the production of music that I think a lot of people who are really artistic but not that good technologically get discouraged from even trying to express themselves. And I think it's had a general sort of impact on the level of work that's out there. And I hope that doesn't continue to happen. And similarly, completely related, I worry that the ability to market oneself, now that you kind of have to do it by yourself, is going to discourage people who are tremendously talented creatively from even trying, because they may not be as good at marketing themselves as they are at writing songs and creating stuff that will move the world. In the end result, what we're talking about here, music is communication, and it's universal communication. It's one of the most, you know, it gets to your gut and your heart and your soul quicker than almost any art form. And the thing I worry about is that people who are good at that, people who are good at making you feel through music, moving you through music, but not that good at technology or marketing, are going to get discouraged. And I really, really, really hope that doesn't happen. I don't think it will. I think in the entire history of Western civilization, people who really had this, you know, who really had the ability to move people and communicate with people, somehow got it, somehow it got done, and somehow it got out there, and somehow it got known. And I think somehow it will shake itself out that way again, but I would really, really, really encourage people who have something inside them that they feel they need to express and that might move people. Don't get discouraged by this other stuff. Find somebody to help you with the other stuff and get it off your plate if you're not that good at it, but don't get discouraged and stop.
So, do you have any advice for independent artists?
That is my advice for independent artists.
Okay.
That's exactly what it comes down to, I think, is Don't be daunted by the marketing aspect of it. Don't be daunted by the technological aspect of it. If you've got something to express through music, keep going and keep doing it, and find people to help you with the other stuff. But don't let that discourage you, because frankly the world needs you. This has been an art form, you know, that has been very, very, it's deeply important to people. There are no words to express the way music touches people, and that's why it's music and not just words. There are no words to express it, and we need the people who know how to make it, and we need them to keep going.
Exactly. I don't know how much you've been told about Music Without Labels. Well, Music Without Labels itself, first of all, is an initiative to basically get artists, independent artists, to sign up to beta test another website that we're going to have coming out this fall. And basically, it kind of works on those problems that you're talking about, where it helps promote the artists for them, and it also distributes for them, just like a label would do. But it allows them to maintain, full control over, how much they sell their music for, how they want to market themselves. We give them a lot of options, basically, to do it themselves. And we kind of make that whole doing it yourself process a lot easier. One of the ways, just real quick, is we're going to have this radio where on here you will kind of follow your friends that you share a taste in music with. So you have a similar taste in music with 10 of your friends, you follow them, and now anything that gets put into their playlist that they like and they save into their playlist
goes to you.
Will get automatically introduced to you. So your friends will introduce you to the music. If you like it, you'll put it in your playlist, and anybody who's following you will get introduced to it. So it kind of spreads virally, and it's just how anybody really gets to hear music is your friend. You know what I mean? One day says, "Hey, you gotta listen to this stuff," and that's it's kind of the same concept, just in a bigger scale. So that's one way that we kind of help that relieve some of that stress with how am I going to market myself? How am I going to do this? With that system, it's almost like put it out there. If it doesn't spread, it's not good. You know what I mean? If it is good, it will spread. So
this is exactly the way in which, in my opinion, the use of the web, the state of flux that everything is in, could turn out to be a blessing. Because again, as you're describing, the problem in the past has always been that the artist had no control over the means of distribution and ended up with nothing from the distribution, because the money, came through everybody's fingers first, and it's sort of stuck to their hands, as it is wont to do. In the world of distributing things, whoever gets the money first, just decides to keep it. What you're describing is a situation that could be much more artist-friendly, where the artist actually has control over how their stuff gets out there, and at the same time, provides an effective means of distributing, of getting people to hear the work. So we may come out the other side of this because of things like Music Without Labels. We may come out the other side of this much the better for this sort of state of flux that we're in now.
That's kind of my angle. I think whether it's us or somebody else, I think if we stick to a similar model, I think we can kind of tailor it to the independent artists or to the artists in general, and kind of come out with a kind of everybody wins kind of situation. You know what I mean? Except for maybe the major labels who are already losing anyway.
They're losing anyway, and it's been long enough. In all candor, I mean, we knew this from the first time that we our first record. We were all excited about our party. The launch party for the first record, until the launch party for the first record showed up on our Red account and put the first record into some astronomical figure that made you realize that okay, you're just going to be in debt. You could never recoup this. This figure is so astronomical and so made up. Sorry. That, no, you could never recoup this. You couldn't recoup this if you sold 50 million copies. You were barely recouping this figure. And this has been a problem since time immemorial. I mean, we've always needed honesty on all sides of this process, and it's hard to find. Hopefully, as the modern era, as people who really love music get more and more involved, maybe we can have a greater degree of integrity in the business side of the music industry, which is, it is in the end result of business, and we all have to deal with it.